Here we are. Been a bit of a whirlwind. We're a little bit late, but it doesn't matter for all good reason. Sveino, how are you, mate?
Oh, yeah, I can honestly say I've been much better in my life. And you know what's funny is like I think we have a pretty good like reference point of like doing grand tours and things like that to kind of say like, oh yeah, that was pretty tough. I'm pretty wrecked. But this is next level. This is a new area, a new experience for me, and I will say that it's been weird and rough. Yeah, like trying to keep a positive spin on things and like what do you keep your chin up, Skip? You know, that kind of talk. It's it's been different. Let's just put it that way.
Shit. Well, what we're talking about, of course, is the Tour Divide, sorry. Let's put the of in there, which started on the 13th of June. Everyone here is going to know what we're talking about because we've prepped for it. We talked about the prep.
Been rambling on about it for ages now. I feel like boring everyone with these bloody Tour Divide logistics.
Let's get into it. Like, should we just tell the story of the actual race, I guess you could call it, the adventure itself from day one, even before day one, getting down there, and tell us about the setup, more or less. Well, tell me. I don't know the story. I haven't spoken to you for everyone out there.
Yeah.
This is the first time we've
spoken. No, let's hop into it. I'll try and my brain isn't working super well right now, so I'll just do my best. So bear along with me. But the running was really good. Actually, everything was really quite good. And the race starts up in Banff, Alberta, which is in the heart of the Rockies there. Really, well, again, a funny town because it's like just a crazy tourist town. And that's actually one of the first logistics to figure out. But I was lucky I had a friend there. He's like, yeah, come on, bring the family and you can come stay here for a few days prior. And it's just like, oh, sweet. Best. Nice. That's the best thing ever. Cause it's just like you're right there. You don't have to stress. Hotels at that time were seriously like minimum $500 or $600 a night. Like, so, just that, like when you're traveling with family and all that stuff, it's like just a massive godsend,
And that was the way you wanted to start it too. Get them all down there. You have the last moment before you left. Yeah. They were pretty keen to come.
I mean, to hold your kids, like, before you take off on this journey, it's like, that is a connection that I wouldn't trade for anything, So yeah, that is exactly how we wanted to go. And we want our kids to be involved in this stuff and see what it is and see like what all these maniacs on the start line are heading off to do, right? Or at least to have some kind of comprehension that your dad is trying to do this stuff, right? Because that's a big part of it is like, not doing this for, you think of like back in the day, we raced because you tried to get a contract and a salary and all these things. This is like a challenge. This is like something hard to do in your life. And you want your kids to kind of see that, that you're still doing these things. Anyways, as we're traveling up, it's like a 6-hour drive from our place. Kids are both like hacking and sneezing and, the standard stuff that, kids who go to school, it's just like, Mitch, from having kids, it's just like one thing spreads to another. And it's just like, it's just this constant.
Our kids haven't got sick yet, actually.
Good one. Like it's just constant. And, as a parent, you're always like, you get used to that, right? And like sometimes it gets you. And I would say like probably 70 to 80% of the time it doesn't, So like I always just stay super positive, like, oh yeah, it's not going to get me. I haven't been sick for ages, I'm good. You're just trying to like keep that vibe going. But as soon as like we're, the end of that day, I'm feeling in my throat like, oh yeah, it's just a little sore throat, whatever. That's always like the start of whatever it is. And that none of that was on the radar. Like I just wasn't like accepting that or whatever. Just focused on.
Yeah. What was going through your head, I guess, as you were heading down there? Firstly, getting, packing the bike back at home. This is it, getting the car, getting everything ready and your head getting into the adventure. When did you start really going, okay, this is, because you said you were down in Alberta, Banff, is it? Sorry, I've lost my mind there.
Yeah,
Banff,
Banff,
sorry,
Alberta. Yeah.
For the start. When did you start really going, okay, I've got to switch into sort of, I guess, game zone time? Like, does that ever happen with that? You know, like when you go to a race, I get it. Like, there's sometimes you can keep it, depending how focused you are on the race, you can keep it pretty fun and everything right till the start line. And then as the whistle goes, you roll off in the neutral and you literally make that switch. But other races, like you've really sort of switched it on in the hotel the day before and things like that. But when did it happen with this one?
It's a good question because, like, you know, like you prepare a lot for this thing. You're like constantly tweaking things on the bike, on the setup, on the run-in. You're always like thinking about all these things, but the massiveness of it really starts to hit you like a couple days out of what you're actually doing. Because you train, you do all this stuff, and you're like, oh yeah, I feel good, I'm ready. But it's not until like those couple days out where you're like, oh shit. Like, you know, for example, like the BC Epic 1040K. I can really wrap my head around that. It's like 2 days of just smashing yourself. You get through, right? Like 1000K, super manageable. But the reality of this thing started settling in, like I said, on that trip up to Banff. And, you know, in that time, you're still thinking of all these little last minute things. And what I will say is, like, the run in, you've changed things so many times. You've like changed your mind on certain things so many times based on, like, again, when you don't know what you're getting into, it's a lot of what ifs, or maybe this isn't the best, or maybe I'll change this, because you just don't know. And you can have all the information in the world, and I'm one of those guys. You can give me all the information. Until I do it, I can't really grasp what it is. So you have all of this other logistical stuff to keep you distracted. But then it's like you get up there and you go ride the to the trailhead where it starts. And basically, like, you leave Banff and you're just like in the woods. And I know that route because I've ridden a lot of that stuff in previous years. And you just go out into the heart of the Rockies, and that's just it. Like,
well,
that
after
first
a couple
leg,
of kilometers, you're into it.
Yeah. Yeah, like your next little place is Kananaskis, which is nothing. And then, like, the next town is 250K away, and it's Fernie, and it's nothing. Like, it's something. There's some gas stations and all that kind of stuff. But, like, when I think about, like, from Fernie to the next place, it's another 200K. And that's like after the US border, and you're in like Montana and Eureka. So it's like these huge expanses, right? And in that first leg, there's like a couple solid hike bikes, like, you know, like a 4K hike bike up and over, like just a rocky, like straight up shoot kind of a thing, like just blown out road. Coco Claims, you know. That's all stuff that, like, you read about and you're like, oh yeah, that's probably not going to be that bad. And then you get there and you're like, this is kind of fucked, actually. Like, this is like pretty full on. And I'm a guy who likes hiking bikes. You know that.
Yeah.
So
I think, is it because, just while we're talking about that, I know we'll rewind. We've already started going down the road, but is it because you're doing a hiker bike in the first day, essentially, and you're like, this is so early and I'm walking, and that could be just like the most fucked bit.
Yeah, like in your head, because like the crazy thing about this is, like, we've talked about it before, is the expanse of land and the difference in zones that you travel through, right? And there's just something, like you said, that's a bit of a mind fuck about hitting like a 20% wall, hike a bike on boulders straight up. And then, like, what's even crazier is, like, the backside of it is like a really sketchy descent, like blown out road, like big rocks and chunder. And you're just like, wow, this is like
proper.
This is this 4,400K route. And, you know, like, there's a lot of like dead zones where you're just like riding on straight roads that are nothing, you know, but stuff like that is just kind of like, wow, wrapping your head around it it's pretty mind blowing. And then you also have this kind of speed or this idea of your movement in the day, and something like that just throws it like right out the window, right? Really throws you for a loop. So it's like mentally, it's just like, wow. And then, later on that night, I hit this thing called the wall. And it's just this random thing, like where you just turn off like the main road and you go on this little trail through like this mud bog. So you're just like riding through like mud. And then all of a sudden you just hit this wall. Like it's just rooty, muddy, and slippery. So you're trying to push your fully loaded bike up this thing and you barely are getting it up there, Oh,
yeah.
And it's pitch black and you're just shaking your head like, how long does this go on? Like I heard it wasn't long, but in the middle of the night, you don't even know, like you can barely navigate because it's so grown over.
Wow. Right? Are there other people around you at these points, at these hiker bike points?
No, like at that point, it was just like the Swiss missile, as I've been calling them. And he was up the road and I was behind him. And then we had like a pretty big gap to whoever else. And, it's just like, you just getting through. And I was like, at that point, I'd committed to getting to Eureka, which is like 440K for the first day. Just cause there's a restock there. And, so I've kind of bypassed the whole thing here.
Let's go back. I want to go back right to the start because I think it's really interesting. The setup. I want to understand the setup, the mindset of the rollout, and what the atmosphere is like on the start line, and the mixed emotions of excitement and sort of sadness rolling away from the family, I guess.
Yeah, that's a huge thing, and something again you don't even think about because again you're so caught up in the distraction of your bike setup and is everything right, your clothing and your bag, like what bag, like I was still like down to like bag choice the last day. And what it really came down to is like, well, I'd rather have extra room to stuff a bunch of food in there if you need to like do like some big, because there are sections of like, the Great Basin is like 170K of nothing. It's just desert, high desert. And then like further than that, there's just mountainous sections that are really long. And so you need to be able to like haul some stuff if you need to. So anyways, you're dealing with all that. And then, like you're still a family guy. So it's like you're doing family stuff the last few days. But the weird thing I will say about that is you're not all there, like I'm sure you've probably experienced that. You're like, I remember that maybe from the racing days, like you'd just be like, kind of, your mind is not there.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm like that I wanted that to be the way. It's just like I couldn't help it. I just had so many things on my mind. So we're walking around town or whatever, but I'm just kind of like,
Yeah.
Totally. So that was kind of weird. I didn't enjoy that because I really wanted those moments like with the family, the last days to be really kind of fun and like good memories, which they were. There's no doubt about it, but I just wasn't there,
Does that take you back like two things? Does that take you back to sort of the end of your career racing? And look, it's definitely a big reason why I wanted to retire. This is just personally for me, it's more of a question for you, is that for me, it was about realizing those moments and then understanding that the sacrifice wasn't worth it anymore. So the sacrifice of not being there for the family and being around and present wasn't worth it for me, for what I was doing on the bike anymore. I was just a participant practically. So then that, and then secondly out of that is, are you going there when you're doing these shorter ones, these buckshots and these other ones? Are you that type of person, or this one only took you back there?
Yeah, so because I've become more relaxed with what I can do in those shorter ones, that's like it's more enjoyable in that sense. Like I'm far more present, like because I just like it's a world that I know. It's like it's so funny. I don't know if you're like that at all, but like I'm just more confident with that. So then it allows me to just be free of it a bit more.
Yeah, totally.
But with something like the Divide, where it's just like so much going into the unknown and such an expectation from myself, and I had to respect that, because it's just who I am. It was different. Yeah. And it's so kind of like, and I didn't like that for sure. And that's like a big part of why I stopped as well. It's like, you just know that's not a sustainable way to be. You're not going to be able to do that forever. And why would you want to, you know?